Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jason Show Home Edition. I'm Jace. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. Hope you guys are doing well. Grab another cup of coffee with me for the next hour, and let's have some fun. Cheers to all of you. Yes, today, no Star Wars mug. This is my Harpo Studios mug. It's my Oprah Winfrey Show mug that I either stole or I bought at her gift store. I probably think I stole it. But oh well, Harpo isn't around anymore, so they can't arrest me. Anyway, I want to say I didn't get to do a big proper greeting on, when was it? Last Thursday. A big Mother's Day greeting to everyone, especially my mom, but happy Mother's Day to all of the moms watching. And of course, happy Mother's Day to my mom. There she is right there. I love this picture. This is actually from our wedding in 2014. My mom just looks so beautiful in this. And this moment here, an hour before this was taken, my mother and I had one of my favorite moments I've ever had with her. Colin and I had given all of the women in our wedding party a spa morning. I think that day or the day before. I think the day before. So we took my mom to a spa and all of our friends. And my mom got done. You know, she got made up and done up, and I don't know, a little Botox. I don't know. She did a lot of stuff to make her feel good. And we had a moment where she got dressed. She got in this gown, and my mom and I ran into each other before the wedding. And I said, "Oh, Mom, you look beautiful." And she looked at me and she says, "I haven't felt this way in many years." She goes, I've never felt this good about myself." And I started crying and she started crying, and it just meant a lot to me because she did. My mom looked, she stole the show. She looked amazing. So Mom, happy Mother's Day. And thank you for instilling in me empathy, compassion, sensitivity, kindness, generosity, and sassiness. I love you so much. And I truly wouldn't be the guy that I am without you. So I love you. And again, to all of you moms out there that watch the show, happy Mother's Day. Especially now, y'all have the toughest job, I'm telling you. And one more little note, speaking of personal life and the like, I know a lot of folks are posting old prom photos, old senior photos, all in solidarity to the class of 2020 who they're missing out on some big events in their life, some rites of passage. So I can't do a lot, but what I can do, I have a TV show. I will embarrass myself in solidarity with the seniors. Here's my prom photo, everyone. Right there. That's junior prom, which was actually my sophomore year, because yes, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked out by an older woman. That's right. This is Michelle. Michelle is one of my high school five that I refer to all the time. Mish and I are still dear, dear friends. She's one of those friends, and we all have them. I call them anchor friends, where she's the one that is not afraid to tell me all about myself. And I wish someone could have told me all about myself with my hair like that. And look at her gown. It looks like a wedding picture, but she looked beautiful. Let's get started, everybody. It is time for the hot dish. Here we go. Bloop, 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 bloop. I miss that sound effect that we had. Where's Director Leo when we need it? First up, everyone, Quibi is another one of those streaming services that you heard of. This one was different. I was excited about it. I think we did a few stories about it before the pandemic. It stands for Quick Bites. Jeffrey Katzenberg was behind it. One of the Meg Whitman as well. So I had big expectations. Well, after about a month, this headline kind of says it all. From The Hollywood Reporter, Jeffrey Katzenberg. Coronavirus to blame for everything that has gone wrong with Quibi. And what has gone wrong? Well, a lot. Quibi stands for Quick Bites. Again, because all the shows are 10 minutes or less. The Jeffrey Katzenberg talked to The Hollywood Reporter about the problems, offering viewers content between engagements and appointments. That was the concept. But due to the coronavirus, people have much more time on their hands. The app had 1.7 million downloads in the first week, but has since fallen to 125 on the Apple Store's most downloaded free apps. Not good. Thus the reason this headline occurs. Yeah. Quibi is working on changes, including allowing users to share content on social media and to be able to watch the content on larger screens. This is my thing. I am still behind Quibi. I still love it. I still think it has potential once we come out of the pandemic, because we all do have those chunks of time, 5-7 minutes, where we're waiting in line at the DMV, or we're going to get a waxing, or we're at Starbucks waiting. I love the concept. I just hope they give it some time. And also, the show needs an Ozark. It needs a House of Cards. There needs to be a hit show. And look, this is hard to do. Every streaming service wants a House of Cards. But Quibi needs a huge hit to bring people to the yard. And then once they're there, then they can experience the other content. I have faith. I really do. You can download Quibi in the App Store. Moving on. Let me take a drink. It was one of the most dramatic and turbulent seasons in Bachelor history. We're talking about Pilot Pete. That's right. But it seems now Pilot Pete might have a happy ending. Look at this picture, everyone. Peter and Kelly are officially an item. Now, you may remember her. She was eliminated in week 7. Now, the two actually met prior to the season, but Peter ended up choosing Hannah Ann, and then Madison, but neither of those lasted very long. We all know that. Peter and Kelly reconnected a few months ago, back in March, and have been quarantining and making TikTok videos ever since. TikTok. I said TikTok. Yes, I'm 45. By the way, Peter's mom approves of this relationship. Well, heavens to Murgatroyd, I think so, because who wants to upset that woman? I don't. I don't want to upset her. What is her name? Helen or Esther? I don't know. But good. I'm happy for these crazy kids. I actually couldn't care less. Next, this is a story I do care about because I think it's just nutter butters. Do you want to smell like Harry Styles? Do you? I wouldn't mind it. Well, it seems a lot of people do. Fans of Harry Styles have been flocking to the Target to get a whiff of Harry. Well, kind of. Diehards know Harry wears Tom Ford's tobacco vanilla, or however you say it, his signature scent, as a signature scent. A bottle of that will run you about $240, but dedicated fans have a workaround. They've discovered the cashmere vanilla candle from Target's Threshold brand. Smells just like that, and girl, it's $7. So the secret's out, and now Target is sold out of the product, but they say they are working on restocking. So forget hand sanitizers, butt wipes, and toilet paper. The hottest item at Target is a candle that allegedly smells like Harry Styles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the apocalypse. Thanks. Coming up in just a little bit, I'm so excited. The Jason Show staff having another family reunion, and this time we're cooking with oil. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Jason Show, everyone. Last time we talked to our last guest, we were talking about preparing our skin for winter. We were in studio having a conversation, and whoa, has life changed since then. Lindsay White, welcome back to the Jason Show. I can't see you in real life, just virtually.
Yes.
But how are you? How have you been since we last spoke?
Well, it definitely feels different to be in my kitchen versus a live studio audience. That's
right.
For sure. I don't get and my cats aren't laughing at me, so it's a little strange. I'm good. Being in the cosmetology esthetician world, it's been kind of interesting not to be in a salon every day and kind of navigating those waters through all of this, but a lot of couch time. I opened up a business 2 weeks before this kind of all happened. So I know it's been kind of interesting to change gears from, doing services hands-on and now kind of focusing on doing everything kind of through online and product sales and those kinds of things.
I'm glad that you're healthy and you're good and that everything's all right. Like I said, we talked about winter skincare last time. I'm so excited. I know that we're in the middle of a pandemic and life stinks right now for that, but it's summer. I mean, it was like in the 70s this month, and I think it's important to start talking about summer skincare.
Absolutely. Especially with people being in quarantine and they're being exposed, they're going for walks, which is amazing, but definitely thinking about protecting your skin is important during that. So.
Okay. Well, you gave me my 5 tips, and the first one, I have to admit, I'm already screwing up. All right. You said number 5 of the most important things, don't store sunscreen in cars, boats, or garages. I'm going to admit it. I store one in my car all summer. I call it my emergency sunscreen, and it gets used a lot. Why shouldn't we be doing that?
So actually, extreme temperatures will degrade the quality and the potency of your sunscreen. I had a friend who did the same thing. I mean, most people make this mistake because it just seems more convenient. I had a friend who kept, first of all, it was an expired sunscreen, which, yes, there's expiration dates for a reason.
Okay.
And she left it in her boat for years. And so half the year it's sitting in 90 degree to 100 degree extreme temperatures. And then the boat goes in storage into a frozen, unheated garage for the other half of the year. That quality of that sunscreen is really going to be lowered. Actually, the SPF lowers over time. So it's not going to protect you the same way that you think when you bought it. Oh, it's SPF 50. The quality is just not going to be the same. So the best thing that you can do is store your sunscreen in, if you want an emergency one, in your purse, like a little one, or, in a room temperature closet at your house, and you just kind of use it when you need it.
Okay, yeah. Number 4, be careful which products you use in the morning. Anything with acid in the title? Tell me about that.
So it's there's a list of products that make you more sensitive to the sun. So when you go out, you're more prone to get sunburn. Acid is kind of like a trigger word in your mind, which is not always the case. I'm not going to get too technical with you, but glycolic acid is probably the most culprit of them. It makes you a little bit more sensitized. So if you have something that has glycolic acid in it, make sure to use that in the evening. Or a lot of other common ingredients are a lot related to acne medications. So benzoyl peroxide is a common acne medication that will make you more sensitive to the sun. The best thing that you can really do is just make sure that you're reading the instructions and make sure that it doesn't mention use it at nighttime.
All right. Load up on antioxidants, but not just on your face.
Yes. So that's another common buzzword. A lot of people hear, I need antioxidants, that's good for me, but they're not quite sure why. The best analogy that I'll tell my clients is when we go out in the sun, there are certain cells in our body that start to go a little wild because of the exposure, and they start damaging other cells. That's what will cause premature aging, skin cancer. So antioxidants actually act kind of as a little jacket for our cells to kind of protect from those wild, damaging cells to harm us. So it's important to eat antioxidants just for our general health, fruits, berries, vegetables, but it's also important to apply it topically for our skin health as well. Vitamin C is a really common skincare ingredient that is a really potent antioxidant.
Okay. And I like that you say to eat it, because at the end of the day, our skin's an organ, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And so being able to get it through our body and topically is both important.
Cool. I love me some blueberries. All right. Yes, love it all. Yeah. Okay. Don't skip the eye and lips. This is a big one. My husband just this spring already got a sunburn on his lips.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a lot of studies that actually come out that people are really, it's easy and it makes a lot of sense, right? Because our mouth, you don't want to get sunscreen in the mouth. You don't want to get sunscreen in the eyes. Right. So people are really careful around those areas, which seems normal. But those areas are actually one of the most highest risk areas of our face. So not only is it more at risk, but then we're also not protecting that area as well. A study that came out in a 2019 PLOS ONE journal found that people who use sunscreen that's mixed with their makeup or moisturizers are even more likely to miss those areas. So it's really important that you spend just a little extra time. Maybe you can buy sunblock lipstick or lip chapstick to make sure that you're putting it on that area, to make sure that you're really protecting those parts of our face.
Okay. I love it. All right. Finally, always have soothing ingredients ready to go. And you sent me a little list of things, like if you get a sunburn, you can mix this together. And I was really excited about this.
Yay! DIY masks are so much fun, especially right now when you're in your kitchen, you're cooking more. You're like, let me throw on a mask since I'm here.
Right.
It's good to have ingredients ready to go if you need to soothe your skin. Maybe you got a sunburn. Maybe it's just really hot out, so your skin's inflamed. Aloe vera is like the number one thing. In fact, actually, I don't know if you can tell on my dining room table, I've got a little aloe plant. I like to use an actual plant because then I know there's not any like added alcohols that will dry out my face.
Right.
That's a really good soothing ingredient just to have on hand. I'll mix a tablespoon of that with a tablespoon of full fat yogurt, plain, no flavoring. Which is great for a little exfoliation. It's a little probiotic going on. It's cold. It feels good on the skin. And then chamomile tea is soothing for the skin as well. So I'll put a little brewed tea in there and I'll mix it all together and throw it on my face. Save the tea bags because then you can put them in your freezer and just kind of dab your face if you're really hot and sunburn. It feels super good and it's super soothing for the skin.
Lindsay, if people want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Skin Health by Lindsay. That's Lindsay spelled with an EY at the end. Check out my Instagram, Facebook, or my website, skinhealthbylindsay.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. You guys, The Jason Show. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. It's time for one of my favorite segments. You know what it's called right there. Here's a fancy little Jason's non-negative news. That's right. Nothing but Care Bears, leprechauns, the non-scary ones, and good news. And we start at my favorite place other than home, the Mall of America and serums, and that is Disneyland. And specifically, I'm talking about Shanghai Disneyland. This is from the Disney Parks blog. You are looking at video from day one of the reopening of Shanghai Disneyland. Now, this is the first Disney park to reopen around the world since all of them closed due to the pandemic. Shanghai Disneyland is looked upon by many analysts and people within Disney as kind of a test. How is this going to go? As you can see, all the guests are wearing masks. All the cast members will be wearing masks. More than a few people believe this will be kind of a test study to how Disney opens the U.S. parks. Personally, I read everything about Disney. My prediction is the park, though, one analyst on Wall Street said next year. No, I think one or both of the American parks will open by the end of July, because what they're going to do is they're going to study Shanghai for a couple weeks, maybe even a month, take the best practices from that park and apply it to the American parks. So that's my prediction. I think it's going to be the end of July. Right now, you can make reservations for the beginning of July, but I do not think that's going to come to fruition. I think it's going to be the end of July. Next good news story. Speaking of traveling, American Airlines and Hyatt Hotels surprised 4,000 healthcare workers in New York with free vacations. Now, no details as far as when these vacations have to take place, where they can go, what the limits are, but just the gesture is so nice of American Airlines. American and Hyatt, 4,000 healthcare workers. And I hope more airlines, Delta, Sun Country, United, I hope more follow suit, because if there's anybody that's going to need a vacation when we get on the other end of this, and we don't know when that's going to be, but when we get on the other end of this, it will be healthcare workers. It will be parents, right? Parents, as you watch the show, teaching with one hand and doing craft projects with the other and working with your third hand that you don't have. Parents and healthcare workers and grocery store employees will all need a vacation. I'm sure I'm leaving out an important group of people, and I'm sure you'll let me know on Facebook, because that's the way the world is right now. One more good story. I love this. So a bunch of residents at a senior living home, senior living center in Tennessee, have started a radio show. I now have competition from the seniors. I love it. They're calling it, radiorecliner.com. It's an hour-long show where they take turns DJing, telling stories, and the like. I think this is a great idea, and I can't think of better people to be in competition with. Again, it's called RadioRecliner.com, and they do take reservations. My dear friends, we're going to take a break, so get another cup of coffee, and we will be right back. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. Our friends over at Fox 9 News recently did a story about Sweets Kendama. And when I saw the headline, I thought, oh, we know them here at the Jason Show. Kendamas are a great classic toy that's been around for generations and has such a rich history. And Matt Sweets Jorgenson, is the founder of Sweets Kendama. This story was brought to me, if I remember correctly, by Shane. And at first I was like, okay, didn't really know a lot about kendamas, didn't know a lot about Matt. I went to do the shoot, a little behind the scenes info here. I went to go do the shoot that day, and I remember honestly not being in a great mood, kind of wanted just to go home. And I went there, and it turned into one of my favorite stories that we've ever done on the Jason Show. And Matt has been really, if I look back on the show, one of my favorite guests. His passion for what he does, his passion for what his products does for people was infectious. And I walked away from that story becoming a huge fan of Matt's and becoming a huge fan of Sweets Kendama. Now, if you're still kind of like, okay, what about kendamas? Why are we talking about this? Well, since a lot of us are staying home and kids are staying home and there's only so much Nintendo Switch you can play, even though I love Animal Crossing, people are turning to just great classic toys. And I think this is great. And kendama is seeing a surge in popularity, and it was already hugely popular, as I said recently, spotlighted in a Fox 9 News story. So we decided to go into our archives and pull out our original visit to kendama, to Sweets Kendama. No idea what I look like. I know I don't have a beard. Who knows? So here is our trip to Sweets Kendama. Enjoy. Sweets, you got to tell me about kendamas. I have to admit, I don't know anything about them.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it, down here? So kendama, it's an ancient Japanese toy. It's been around for 150 years or so. There is a big cup, a little cup, a bottom cup, and then there's a hole in the ball and the spike. So the ultimate goal is to get it up on that spike.
Now, how did you get involved with kendamas?
And I was watching a ski video, and in the ski video they went to Japan, and in Japan they found this. In between all the ski shots, they had the guys playing and doing the tricks, and I was like, what is that toy? I want to play it. I need that. And my cousin's like, I think I got one in the basement. And went and checked it out, found one in the basement, and for the next half hour I didn't stop doing anything but trying to get these cups. And the next 3 nights I had dreams about kendama. I thought about it like, what? I have to try that. It was so easy but so hard. That led me to buying my first few and sharing with my friends.
That's like a hobby. Where did it turn from a hobby to where we're standing right now?
Timing's everything in life, and I think kendama found me at the perfect time because I was graduating from college. I was almost finished. And I was about to go into the real world and find a real job, and I wasn't liking that, no. I saw my friends who were 21 buying these and enjoying them. The light bulb kind of went off, like, man, if a bunch of 21-year-olds like it, a bunch of 12-year-olds would really enjoy it, I bet.
Where did you get your funding from, Sweets?
Some of the first funding we ever got was from my ex-girlfriend's father.
That's right. Hashtag ex-girlfriend's father. Yeah. Hashtag. That's right.
You know, it all has to come from somewhere.
It all has to come from
somewhere. He was a nice guy, you know. So to believe in a 21-year-old kid to start a wooden toy business takes a lot of.
Well, and you mentioned wooden. In the age of iPads and Nintendo Switches and Xboxes.
People definitely thought we were down the wrong path, but I was a kid who grew up with real toys, not video games. When I saw the look in kids' eyes when they were playing it for the first time, how hard it was and how much joy they got from doing it, that feeling when you spike it is something you can't reproduce, and that's why kids love it and why I kept doing what I was doing, because I saw kids getting hyped and excited, and I got to do everything I wanted. I got to help kids, I got to have my own business, and spread kendama love.
You guys are doing this by hand, a lot of elements of this process.
Because we want the highest quality kendama we can make. That's what we pride ourselves on. We're kendama players. We want kendamas that look good and play good. All the different designs that you see that we create are hand done by these guys. It's small things like this that people on the internet don't really see when they're buying a Sweets kendama. You know, there's 3 guys back there drilling the balls out because we have to get the perfect bevel and the perfect size for the string, and all that stuff happens right here in our shop.
Playing with it at your cousin's house, would you imagine that we would be standing here and you would have an operation on this scale?
No, never in my life. It was just an idea, but all these people have made it a reality in this crazy dream world I get to live in now every day.
So Sweets, this is kind of the museum, right?
Yeah, this is it, man.
Show me right away the rarest or most expensive and why.
So this is a Mugen Muso, and it's all black. Look how the Ken's painted, like we showed you downstairs. This one actually changes color in the light when you put it in different parts of the light.
It's great, yeah.
And red's right here on the front, and there's only 2 in the world. So there's really no price on it. I wouldn't part with it for anything. This is the emerald green Mugen, and he only made them for a few years, and then he was banished. But it was renowned as one of the best kendamas in the world. There's only a few hundred of each of these made.
Is that a garbage?
I'm pretty sure it's a mad monster.
I'm a kid from the 80s.
I don't just like collecting like the most rare, but I also like the most cool.
So these are the ones people can buy, right?
Yeah. First thing when I tell people when they're getting their first kendama is you need to like it. If you're gonna show people, you're gonna play it out in public, you're gonna show your friends, you need to have something you like. So what are you thinking?
I am thinking this one. And now I will play it.
Now your journey has begun.
See, that sounds better. That's more dramatic. Thanks, Sweets. Yeah. Sweets has a better ending to the piece than the host. I love it.
Oh, gosh.
Again, Matt and Sweets Kendama, that story, it lives up with me as one of my favorite things that we've done on this show. If you want to follow Matt on Instagram, Matt_Sweets. And of course, you can follow Sweets Kendama as well. I love them, and I'm so proud they're in our backyard. Thanks again, Matt and the crew at Sweets Kendama. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. It is our quarantine cooking challenge. When we last left, Ted announced that he was making Chipotle guacamole. Take it away, Ted.
So they tweeted their recipe, which was basically 2 avocados, some lime juice, cilantro, red onion, jalapeno, and salt. They also tweeted the steps that it would take. And you remember my TV stand thing, right?
Is that your TV stand or the guacamole instructions right there?
That is the TV stand. For the guacamole, 6 steps, and it was actually just 6 steps.
Again, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, by the time you see this, we will have made graphics. But if not, Ted's iPad's going to do.
And it took me, I didn't time myself, maybe 15 minutes. But when I finished, look at that.
Look
at that.
Okay, I got to tell you, even with you just holding your iPad up, Kendall, Jeff, that looks good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That looks great.
Looks good.
Okay,
vegan as well.
Is it? Oh, it's vegan. Oh, yeah. Hello. Yeah. Doesn't have meat in it. Yeah.
Okay. Vegan's good for you.
Okay, Ted, taste-wise, okay, now we know how difficult it was. How was the taste?
Taste was phenomenal. And it tasted just like Chipotle's guacamole.
Nice.
Really?
I mean, and I do have a little video, so why don't we just show you? There it is.
Look, everybody, it's picture-in-picture Ted. That is fantastic.
And he likes it.
Wow.
What chips do you use with that? Because I feel like the chips are the really good part at Chipotle. But
tortilla.
No.
Tortilla chips. What you Frito-Lay. You used Frito-Lay, Kendall.
Whatever.
Grocery aisle. Grocery store.
Whatever, guys. Thanks.
Okay, our cooking challenge continues now with our fearless leader, executive producer, Jeff. Jeff, what did you make?
I made a specialty coffee drink that is all over the TikTok, the gram. All the kids are doing it. I don't know what TikTok is, but I learned about it. No, it's this coffee thing. It's called Dalgona Coffee. Dalgona Coffee, and you will be amazed at how cool this is. Take a look. To start making your Dalgona coffee, you want 1/8 cup of instant coffee. It has to be instant coffee. After that, you're gonna add equal parts sugar. So I have 1/8 cup of sugar. And the last ingredient, 1/8 cup boiling water. Put all those in a bowl, and then we're gonna blend. Now you can mix this with a whisk, or just use an electric mixer, which is what I'm gonna do. And you want to do this for about 5 minutes until it gets nice and thick and foamy. Okay, this is what it looks like after a few minutes. You can see it's really nice and thick. It's like a light brown color. Now to serve it up, I poured a glass of milk, about 8 ounces, put some ice cubes in, and then I put 3 spoonfuls of the foam on top. Now you can mix this up or just kind of let it all settle together. The best part is you can put that in a sealed container in the refrigerator and it lasts for about a week. Okay. that's how you make it. Now wait, here it is. What it is, it's whipped. You do like this whipped coffee thing and then you put it on top of milk. And it is like better than most things I've had at a coffee shop, and it like blends into the milk. It's
Are we sure that's not your cottage cheese lunch that you eat all the time?
Oh, you saw in the story, it's coffee foam.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it really good? Really?
It's like rocket fuel. If you need to get going while you're sitting at home, rocket fuel.
Okay. Now, maybe you covered this in the package, but I was making notes. How long did that take? Because, Ted... his took a long time. 5 minutes?
5 minutes. It's 3 ingredients: instant coffee, boiling water, and sugar. And you can make it keto friendly if you want to use like a sugar substitute.
Because I got to tell you, I love at Starbucks the salted cream cold foam cold brew.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. That looks like that, Jeff. Oh, okay. Now, do you have to brag? I mean, did you get enough for the rest of the class? I mean,
it's fantastic.
Wow. Okay. So we have guacamole. We have the vegan cookies that Kendall made, and then we have a coffee beverage. So I thought I would do something a little bit different. Thank you, Jeff. I don't have mine to model. Mine was actually inspired, and I haven't said this publicly. I have to show gratitude to executive producer Jeff, because if it wasn't for Jeff, I wouldn't know about the person that inspired this recipe. And I'm talking about People Magazine food editor Shay Spence, who is fantastic to follow on Instagram. Jeff told me about him. He did this a couple weeks ago, and it was a quarantine chicken finger challenge. And basically what he did was go into his cabinets and pull whatever he had, cereal, potato chips, put it in a food processor, ground it up, and coat chicken fingers, homemade chicken fingers, in whatever items that he had in his cupboard. So I took this challenge, and this is what I used. Here's a picture right here. I used Cheez-Its, waffle cones, Captain Crunch, and a Minnesota favorite, Dots home-style pretzels. Yeah. Now, there is a clear winner. I ranked them, and so did Colin, 1 to 4. There's a clear winner we'll get to in just a second. But first, how do you do these? Well, if you've never made homemade chicken fingers, here's how you do it. You take the chicken tenders. I just bought mine. Some people fancy people like to take a chicken breast and slice them. No, go to Target, go to Cub, get the chicken tenders in a package. You dip them in flour first because, egg doesn't just stick real well to a normal raw chicken tender. Dump it in flour, then dump it into an egg. I did it like 2 or 3 eggs. And you can season the flour too, add some salt and pepper. And then after the egg, you dip it in your breading of choice, be it Captain Crunch, be it Cheez-Its. And then you let it sit for 5 minutes to let the chicken tender kind of get, kind of let the breading get a little hard. And then you put it in a frying pan. I used a cast iron at about 350 degrees, about an inch of canola oil. I did actually use canola oil for about 8 minutes per side. 8 minutes per side. And it comes out, and it was fun. It was delicious. And again, like I said, a clear winner for these chicken tenders. Now, let's go round robin. What do you think came out on top? Or I should ask, what do you think sounds the best? Ladies first. Kendall.
Dots. Oh,
okay.
Oh, goodness. Mm-hmm.
Ted.
Waffle cone, hands down.
Jeff.
Either waffle cone or Cheez-Its.
Okay. Here's the rankings. Here's the little graphic here. The rankings, it was very, very, very clear. Number 4 in last place was Cheez-Its.
Oh.
Cheez-Its was number 4.
I can see that.
But let me say, there were no losers in the chicken finger challenge of 2020. These were all really good. Cheez-Its was number 4. In an almost tie, Waffle Cone and Cap'n Crunch, with a slight edge to the Cap'n Crunch, and coming in at a clear number 1, Dots Pretzels. The seasoning in the pretzels melded really well with the chicken tenders. They were just salty enough. You could taste that seasoning from the Dots. They were so good, guys. And since I posted on social media about this, I guess I didn't know this. Dots sells an already ground up mixture in a bag. You knew this? You guys knew this?
No.
I've seen it.
Oh.
Yeah, we got Hobie Artigue.
Oh, someone's fancy in these 4 squares. I don't know who it is, but somebody's fancy, Ted. No, but I just thought this was great. So I'm going to try cornflakes next. I have a box. I'm going to try cornflakes. And I don't know. This was really fun. So, again, thanks to Shay.
I have an idea. How about Cheetos?
Ooh, yes, that would win.
Oh, okay. Chicken Finger Challenge Part 2 might have to happen next week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cheetos. Kendall, you have anything?
Well, Cheetos are my favorite food. So
How about what if I use your vegan cookies?
Okay, be clear. The vegan chocolate chip cookies are boss, and you just wish you had one.
You're right. Send them over. Guys, thank you so much. Again, we'll be posting all of this on social. Thank you, Ted. We'll be posting all of this to social media. And if you guys have an idea for another staff challenge, let us know. Search for Jason Show TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And remember, Ted is single. We'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to the Jason Show Home Edition. I'm Jace, and joining me are the stars. It's like, again, Hollywood Squares. There's Charles Nelson Riley to your top left. It's Ted. No, Ted, look the other direction, Ted. Right there. There's executive producer Jeff Orcutt. Below Jeff is the one and only Kendall. And then below me, right there, America's favorite morning show producer Ted, now complete with no cords hanging from his television. Look at that.
Very fancy. Very fancy.
So we thought we'd have some fun. We've played Would You Rather together. We've caught up together. But today we decided to do a cooking challenge because we see your emails. You guys really seem to like when we cook. Hashtag Jeff's air fryer segment. I said it before he could. Right, Ted? You knew it was going to come.
We get comments every day about his air fryer and how to do whatever he did in his air fryer.
So we thought it'd be fun to do a quarantine cooking challenge. Basically, what have we been making in quarantine? What have we learned? And we're going to start, ladies first, with Kendall. Kendall, what are you making?
I made vegan chocolate chip cookies. Hold your applause.
Ted, there are a lot of vegans that watch the Jason Show, but I will admit, Kendall, this is a tough sell with 3 carnivores here.
I know. I understand. Well, when you think of it this way, there's never meat in your cookies anyway. Right? So.
You're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. What kind of cookies are you eating, Kendall? The cookies where I'm from have meat.
Duh. No, so I found, I've been looking up different recipes because like everybody, I've wanted to learn some new skills while in quarantine and I hate cooking. So I actually got this off Good Housekeeping and then I tweaked it a little bit. They're probably the chewiest, softest cookies I've ever eaten. And I tried them because like I was saying, the vegan part of it, essentially just don't use eggs, milk, butter, things that you normally would have in a cookie.
I was going to say, yeah, that leaves like dirt. What can you put in the cookie?
Well, and I think that that's what keeps it though, really chewy. So hear me out. Okay. I have my little ingredient card here. I'll show you guys how all this looks. But the thing that you really use to sort of substitute that chewy goodness is canola oil. That's like the big substitute for where you would get that.
What's a canola?
Canola oil.
It's a nut, Jeff. It's a nut that grows in the ground. It's the canola nut.
From cannolis.
Cannolis, that's right. It's the canola nut from cannolis, Jeff.
Boys, I'm trying to teach the people how to make.
Okay, go ahead, Kendall.
Okay, so we'll post the whole recipe online, but you still have your flour, baking soda, salt, chocolate chips, brown sugar, normal sugar. It's the canola oil and the vanilla. They say to use normal vanilla syrup, or vanilla, I don't know, oil. What do you call that? Vanilla?
Extract?
Extract.
Extract.
It's next to the canola oil in the grocery store.
Extract.
Do vanilla candles work?
Oh, thank you, Ted. Thank you for asking.
Only Cashmere Woods candles.
Everyone. No, I use though vanilla paste. So it's a little more expensive, but it actually gave it a slightly different texture because I used paste once and extract a different time.
Okay.
With the paste, and I add sea salt.
Okay. So you bake them up.
Ooh,
Do
I'm
they
a big
bake
sea salt guy.
I'm not trying to rush you, but Kendall, we don't want to cut into Ted's time. You know how sensitive he gets with this.
Forbid.
Yeah. Hello. So do you bake them up like a normal cookie, Kendall?
Bake them up like a normal cookie. The trick though, I used a big mixer like a lot of people have. You can use a hand mixer or just use your hands if you want to, obviously. The big thing is that you want to put them on 3 different cookie sheets and line them with that paper, parchment paper.
Parchment paper.
Newspaper.
Scrap Is it newspaper?
Paper. And then this is the trick for real. You put them in the freezer for 30 minutes. So that's a little different than normal cookies. That is because of the different ingredients that you're using.
Okay.
And then you bake them for 6 minutes. Rotate the pan, not the cookies, but switch which pan is on top and rotate it. Shut up for 6 more minutes, and then you just let them cool, and they're amazing and delicious. And mark my words, everyone will eat them.
And in that time, you could drive to Cub and buy your own.
Yeah.
Whatever, Mom.
Okay, Ted, now here's what we're going to do, okay, Ted? Because I will not cheat you out of your time, okay? So let's tell the audience, what did you make for your challenge?
Chipotle's guacamole.
Ooh. Now, this is not Ted's guacamole. This is, you made the Chipotle.
I made their Chipotle's guacamole, and I stuck to their recipe. No improvising. I stuck to it.
Did you use the canola nut in your recipe at all?
No. They tweeted their recipe, so it was very easy to follow.
Thank you for listening, Jason.
You're welcome. There it is right there. We're going to make a graphic, but if you don't, just in case we don't have time for a graphic, there's Ted's iPad right there. That is how very, very, very simple we've become in the quarantine. We're not even making graphics. We're just putting our phones up to the camera. Okay, Ted, stay right there. Jeff, hold that thought. We're going to take a break. When we come back, how did Ted make it? Was it easy? Plus, it's Jeff's turn and my turn when we return. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. A moment of gratitude before we leave. I know it's easy, and I get caught up in this too, to focus on all that's wrong right about now, all the negative, all the things that we don't have right now, that we don't have access to, that we can't do. I don't want to forget all of the good that has actually come from the last 6 or 7 weeks. And I'm specifically talking about gratitude for reconnection, whether it's by social media or by phone calls or even a letter. There has been a renewal of reconnection around my life, and I just want to say thank you. I have reconnected with friends on a more regular basis via Zoom or Skype or Facebook or Instagram. I have reconnected with family members that, because life was traveling at 200 miles an hour, I didn't take time to connect with. Now I have that time, and I have just been filled with gratitude that these people are in my life when we all need each other the most. And I really hope, as I sit here, that I will remember how I feel now. And when life does return to some sense of normal, that I will keep these connections going, because my goodness, it has really filled my soul when I've needed it the most. So thanks to all the friends and family out there that keep us going through this really difficult time. And thanks to all of you. Your kind emails, tweets, and letters to myself and to the staff has kept us going as we kind of make our way through these challenging waters. So a moment of gratitude to all of you. and to all of my friends and family. I love you. That's going to do it for us. Stay safe, everybody. And if you're a kid out there that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you with a new show on Tuesday.